And so I can't help but think of this question. Lazarus has got to be thinking to himself, why did you take me through all of this if you knew you were just going to wake me up? Why didn't you just heal me? Like, are you not thinking this through? Hello, McFly, what's going on? You got to understand. It only makes sense if you understand that the whole test, the whole sickness, the whole pain, the whole tears, the whole problem, the whole issues, the whole disruptions were never about you in the first place. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It is for the glory of God. Oh my God, people just can't believe that. Would God let a man be blind for 20 years? 20 years. He is born blind. And the disciples come along and they're talking. He's standing right there. And they're talking in front of him saying, Jesus, this man who's blind, he's blind because who sinned? His mother or his father? Now, he's not deaf. He's blind. But they're talking about the thing that hurts him the most with the most careless frivolities. It's funny how people can talk about your worst moment and your worst situation and the thing that causes you more pain than anything else in the world as if it costs them nothing. What business is it of yours who sinned, my mother or father? I'm who's blind. And Jesus says, neither. He says he was born like this for my glory. Oh my God. That God would let a man be born blind for some 20 years to heal him in just 20 seconds so that God could get the glory for the next 2,000 years. Could it be that you were born to the family you were born to for God's glory? Could it be that you grew up without a father for the glory of God? Could it be that you went through all that you went through and all of your pain and everything that you look to and you look at it as if you were a victim instead of looking at it that maybe you went through that for God's glory, that God wants to take your misery and make it your ministry? Lazarus is in a horrible condition. He has slipped from time into eternity. Jesus calls him forth. And what we see here with Jesus raising him from the dead is different from every other person that he raised from the dead, because Jesus raised a lot of people from the dead. But Lazarus is completely different because Lazarus gets a front row seat. I mean, if you can't preach anything, preach Lazarus. I mean, when all else fails, preach Lazarus. I mean, the best stories in the world are the stories with happy endings. All right, so when Jesus raises him from the dead, what it does is it sets in motion every other thing that leads to him going to the cross. If Lazarus had not been raised from the dead, the whole city would have not went wild about Jesus. Lazarus' dysfunction was Jesus' opportunity to get the attention of the entire city. It's not about you, Lazarus. I need you to get sick and die so I can raise you from the dead to get the attention of the entire city. He needs Lazarus to be sick. Oh, it's wrecking my mind. You mean it was your will for me to go through that? That was the worst thing that ever happened in my life. And it was all in the will of God. He needed him to go through public disgrace so that when he raised him up, it would be a sign to every unbeliever. So Jesus didn't have to preach. Lazarus didn't have to preach. Lazarus, when he came forth, he didn't have to preach. He didn't have to write a book. He didn't have to sing a song. He didn't have to do a conference. All he had to do was just sit there. And him being there validated that Jesus was the Son of God. You know, because the high priest got together, Caiaphas, they said, we got to do something about this Jesus, man. He's out of control. And he's getting all these people, and, you know, all these Jews are going to follow him, and then Rome's going to come down here, and they're going to crush Jerusalem. And they said, it is better, listen to this, they said, it is better for the one to die for all than for all of us to die for one. And they didn't understand. They thought, let's go ahead and set up Jesus to be crucified. But they didn't understand that Lazarus was a setup. God is so smart, freaking me out. They thought they were setting up Jesus to be crucified. They didn't understand that Jesus had already set up Lazarus to make the whole thing go in motion. That's why he said, no man takes my life, idiot. I lay it down. And if I lay it down, I've got the power to pick it back up again. Your whole little plot to kill me is my plan. He's the one who set the things in motion. He was orchestrated. So you got to understand that God is like a puppet master pulling strings in your behalf, working things out for his plan and his purpose. And what you've got to do is get in the plan and the purpose of God. Even if you make mistakes, God will use you if you just get in his plan and in his purpose.